Welcome everyone and thanks for joining today. I'm really glad you're here. Today we are going to talk about something that I think a lot of organizations are curious about but aren't quite sure how to start. And that's process intelligence and specifically what a proof of concept actually looks like in practice. At mindzie, our whole thing is helping companies understand what's really happening inside their processes. Not what they think is happening, but what actually the data shows. And the POC is the fastest, most concrete way to see that in action using your own data. So let's get into it. Before we dive into the how, let's just make sure we are aligned on the what. A proof of concept in process intelligence is essentially about turning trust as it works into here's what your data shows. And that shift from a generic demo to something built on your actual data is usually the moment things click for stakeholders. It's important to be clear about something though. A POC is not the project. It's the first real look into what improvement opportunities exist inside your organization, driven entirely by data. Think of it as the evidence that either builds the case for moving forward or saves you from investing in something that isn't the right fit. It's genuinely the most convincing step in the adoption cycle, and it's where the conversation moves from theoretical to real. So, who actually needs to be in the room or involved for a POC to work? We typically think about three groups. First, you have your process owners and SMEs, the people who actually live inside the process every day. They know where the pain points are, even if they can't always prove it with data yet. Then there's the Center of Excellence, process analysts, and IT, the people who are going to connect the tools, validate the data, and make sure this is technically sound. A third, and this is a critical group, decision makers, budget holders, and management. Because even if the analysis is brilliant, if the right people haven't seen it and aren't bought in, nothing moves forward. A POC works best when all these three groups are engaged. Each has a different reason to care about the outcome, and we'll talk about that on the next slide. Each of those groups comes into the POC with different goals, and it's worth naming them explicitly because it helps you set up the POC for success. Process owners and SMEs want to see real value and they want to identify quick wins that they can actually act on right away. The COE, analysts, and IT want to validate the technology. Does it actually connect to our systems? Does it work with our data? Is this thing a fit for how we operate? And decision makers and management are thinking about cost benefit, risk, and buy in. They need data driven evidence that justifies the investment and gives them something to bring to the executive table. The reason this matters is that a well run POC speaks to all three of these audiences at once. It's not just a technical exercise, it's a business case being built in real time. What are we as the delivering company trying to get out of the POC? We are not just trying to impress the client. We are trying to genuinely understand the environment, data, processes, pain points, because that knowledge is what let us do a proper implementation later if that's where things go. We want to build credibility by showing we actually understand the business challenges, not just our own technology. We want to quantify the ROI potential, surface real inefficiencies, cost drivers, or compliance risks that are already sitting in clients' data waiting to be found. We want to identify internal champions, people inside clients' organization who see the value and will advocate for it. And finally, a well-run POC naturally sets the foundation for implementation because by the end we've already established data connections, defined scope, and aligned stakeholders. The groundwork is done, so it's genuinely a shared investment. Okay, so Let's talk about how this actually works. The full path from we think this could be valuable to here's what we decided. We structure every POC into 7 steps across 4 phases: scope, discover, prove, and deliver. Step 1 and 2 are scope. First, we define objectives. What are we actually trying to answer? What does success look like? Then we scope the systems and data. Which systems hold the relevant data? Is it cloud or on-premise? What's realistic to work with? Step 3 and 4 are discover. You either extract the data or give us access. CSV is our preferred method for a POC because it's fast and low risk. Then we validate it. Does the data have what an event log needs? A case ID, activities, and timestamps? If it does, we are in a good shape. Step 5 is proof. This is where we build the event log and map the as-is process. We take the data and turn it into a process you can actually see and explore. Steps 6 and 7 are deliver. We develop dashboards, present the findings, bottlenecks, and opportunities, and then we have an executive readout, live demo, Q&A, and we decide together what comes next. The whole thing is designed to move fast and stay focused. Let me walk you through what you actually get out of each step, starting with define objectives. By the end of step 1, we have a documented process scope, the key stakeholders and team identified, KPIs and metrics agreed on, a final project plan, and a meeting schedule. Everyone knows what we are doing and why. Step 2, scoping the systems, gives a system scope, the confirmed data sources, and a clear picture of what we are pulling and from where. These 2 steps might sound like admin, but honestly, they are some of the most important work in the whole POC. Ambiguity at this stage is the number one reason POCs go off track, and we'll talk about that later. In the discover phase, step 3 and 4, we are working with the actual data. Step 3, getting the data, produces the event log creation. We work with your team to extract the relevant data, document the activities that belong in the event log, and capture the attributes that will make the analysis meaningful. Step 4 is data validation. This is where we confirm the event log is solid, that it has what it needs and the quality is sufficient. A validated event log is what we hand off to the proof phase. A lot of clients underestimate how important this step is. If the data isn't right, the analysis isn't right. So we spend real time here, not just a quick check. Step 5 is where things start to get exciting. This is the proof phase. We take the validated event log and we build out the process analysis. What comes out of this is a full process overview, a visual map of how your process actually flows, where the variations are, where cases are getting stuck, and where time and cost are being consumed. For most clients, this is the first time they have ever seen their process the way it actually behaves, rather than the way it's supposed to behave on paper. That gap between the two is almost always where the value is. Step 6 is about packaging those insights into something your different audiences can actually use. We build dashboards tailored for different stakeholders. Operational teams get one view, management gets another. And then we do a full POC results presentation, bringing together the findings, the bottlenecks, the opportunities, and the data behind all of it. This isn't just the slide deck. It's a live demonstration using your data, showing your process with your KPIs. That's what makes it blend. One of the things I want to highlight here is that the dashboards we build aren't just for the POC readout. They are operational tools. Mindzie's apps put the live status of every journey in front of the people who can actually do something about it. Each role gets a tailored view. Build once on the platform, then served on any work browser, refreshing at the speed of the process. So what you are seeing during the POC isn't a mock-up. It's real infrastructure. POC ends, you can keep using it. Another piece of the delivery is AI-powered intelligence reporting. Mindzie's AI synthesizes what's happening in your operations into an executive report, written the way a trusted analyst would write it. It quantifies performance, identifies the biggest changes, and moves from one period to the next, and recommends the operational changes worth making. Think of it as an always-on analyst sitting on top of your process data, not replacing your team, but making sure nothing important gets missed. And then we get to step 7. And honestly, this is the whole point. We come together and executive readout. We do a POC results assessment. We agree on next steps. And we make a go, no-go decision on a full project. Here's something I want to be really clear about. The POC doesn't just give you a decision. It actively makes the full project better if you decide to move forward. It removes risk because you already know the data works. It refines scope because you've seen what the data can and can't do. And it accelerates the implementation because we've already built the foundation, the data pipeline, the process understanding, the stakeholder alignment. So either way, the POC is a good use of time. Before I talk about what can go wrong, let me share what makes a POC actually work well. The number one thing, only do a POC if you are genuinely committed to the full initiative. A POC isn't a way to kick the tires with zero intention of doing anything. That wastes everyone's time and you won't get real value out of it. Keep it short, 3 to 6 weeks. Long POCs lose momentum and scope starts creeping. Use sample data. You don't need everything. You need enough to be representative. Pick one process, not 5. Not your most complex one. One well-scoped process where you know the question you are trying to answer. Limit the number of systems. The more systems, the more complexity, the more things can slow you down. And keep it simple. The goal is a clear answer, not a comprehensive analysis of everything. Now, let's talk about why POCs fail. Because they do, and it's almost never because the technology didn't work. First one, unclear objectives. If you can't define what success looks like before you start, you'll never know if you got there. Too ambitious scope. Trying to prove everything at once, prove nothing. Changing the scope. Scope creep POC kills momentum and focus. Lack of resources. The data doesn't extract itself. You need people with access and time. No executive sponsorship. If nobody at the top is paying attention, it gets deprioritized fast. No real commitment. Going through the motions isn't a POC. Not a priority. If the team is stretched thin and this is 10th on the list, it won't get the attention it needs. Misalignment between parties. If your IT team thinks it's a technical exercise and your management thinks it's a business case, you are going to have friction. The good news is every single one of these is avoidable with the right setup at the start, which is exactly what step 1 and 2 are designed to do. So, where do we go from here? Once you've seen what's possible on that first process, we scale across the company, expanding to every product line, segment, and team that could benefit. You don't have to commit to all of that today. The first step is just a conversation, and we are ready when you are.